In this video, we're gonna show you how to use a torque wrench.
The first step is to make sure you have the right torque wrench. If you see here, we have a larger one and a smaller one. If you look at the smaller one, we're gonna look at the units of measurements. Now, if you look right here, it says inch pounds, and then we're gonna turn it over and it says Newton meters. When you look at the numbers, this is a good way to see what the max of the torque wrench is. If you look here, it says 200 inch pounds, and then we're gonna turn it over, and this says 22.6 Newton meters. And when we look at the actual construction of the torque wrenches, we're gonna look at this one because this is more standard. The top of the torque wrench looks like a regular ratchet. Now we have our switch here, our lever that we could go from directions clockwise and counterclockwise. And then if you look right here, we're gonna have what our sockets and adapters connect to. And then the body of the torque wrench is gonna come down, and this is the most important part right here. This looks like a handle, but this is actually a mechanism, and the way that you operate it is typically there's gonna be a little device down here and a little knob that you could turn counterclockwise and clockwise, and what that does is it's gonna loosen this so you could turn it. So when I turn this counterclockwise, it loosens it, and I'm able to turn this handle. And it's really important to be able to do this because that's how you're gonna set your torque wrench. So I'm gonna show you before we do that, the top of it, which is the most important part. If you look right here, we have a 0, and then if you look at these numbers, it has like a little ladder, and each number has kind of like a line to the left and then to the right of it. And what you're gonna do is we're starting off right here at 20, but we're gonna go to 35. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make sure it's loosened, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn it. And if you see here, it says 5. So it's not at the 35 because we are now at 25, and then you're gonna turn it again. And then now we're at 30, but watch this, guys. We're gonna turn it again, and now we're at 35. And the reason why is because the base of the handle is gonna be lined up with the little lines on 35. So we're gonna do it one more time so you can see. We're gonna skip them and just go straight to the next one, which is gonna be 50. And there we are, 50. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna tighten it down, and then you're ready to use it. You're ready to torque something down at 50 inch pounds. Now, torque wrenches vary not only in size, but also how they operate. This one doesn't have a switch at the bottom. What this has is kind of like a locking mechanism. What you do is you release this to move it, and then when you're at the right place, it locks in. Now, this is a heavy duty torque wrench, meaning that it's used for higher torque applications. If you see here, we're at foot-pounds instead of inch-pounds, and this goes up to 250 foot-pounds. And of course, we're at Newton meters, and this one goes up to 345.7 Newton meters, which is a lot. But there's something you need to know about torque wrenches, which is really important. Even though this is really big and looks strong, you never use torque wrenches, no matter what size they are, to loosen something. Even though you can, technically, and you're able to go counterclockwise, you don't want to use these to loosen. These are calibrated, and look at this, it says calibrated and tested. These are calibrated tools, and they're only designed to be used to torque something, to tighten something down to a certain specification. We're gonna show you everything in action. We have a 10mm bolt, and we're gonna tighten it down to 35 inch pounds. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put our socket on our torque wrench. We're gonna make sure we're going the right way. And then we're gonna go ahead and loosen our torque wrench, and we're gonna go to 35 inch pounds. Right there. We're gonna tighten it down. We're gonna make sure that we're angled correctly, and we're gonna start tightening it. We're listening for a click. When you're done with your torque wrench, you don't just put it back in a box. Some torque wrenches will tell you what you need to do. It says store at 20 inch pounds. So what you do is you go ahead and loosen it. We're gonna turn it. We're gonna make sure we're straight with 20. We're straight with 20. We're gonna tighten it down lightly, and that's ready to be stored. And that's really important. Now, this one doesn't tell you when it needs to be stored, but in its instructions, it does tell you, so it's not stamped on here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and loosen it and store it. So we're gonna store it at its bottom setting right there. at the beginning of the setting. Now, why do you do that? The inside of these torque wrenches have a calibrated spring and everything, or depending on their construction, some have springs, some other have other designs. But what happens is if you store them and they're tight, that's going to weaken, and then you're going to lose your calibration. So that is a quick video on how to use a torque wrench.